Welcome back, everybody. So I am back again with another book haul this time. Now, I am going to include something that you have probably already seen in my recent videos, which is my Wheel of Time hardcovers. So this is everything except The Eye of the World, because I need to replace that with the 30th anniversary edition that comes out next month. But all these pretty ones are here, including the goofiest ones possible. Ones like The Gathering Storm. Or Crown of Swords, where Rand looks like he just stepped off the set of Double Dragon. So, I don't think he ever wears this. And then, of course, we have this hilarious one of Fires of Heaven, where they look like they're wandering around the set of a show and they don't know what they're doing and they're all looking off in different directions. Rand's just like, I'm gonna stand right here in the middle. All right, now that those are out of the way, though, I did actually recently get some books. If you saw the picture on my Instagram, I picked up a few things from Books A Million somewhat recently, a few weeks ago. So let's go ahead and share those. So starting with the first 3 books of The Black Company by Glen. So this is interesting because this is just under 700 pages, so, you know, a small Brandon Sanderson novel. From what I understand about The Black Company is it is sort of a grimdark story. This is a little bit older, so I'm wondering if a lot of things pulled their grimdark themes and tales from this. I know Alan over at the Library of Alexandria did recently cover these, maybe a couple months ago. I know he has a video talking about these books, so I would suggest watching that, because I don't know shit about these books, but he does, so check his video out. But I'm definitely looking forward to getting into some other grimdark in the future as well. I know this is a pretty big series, but each, obviously, volume of this, I mean, it's 700 pages for 3 books, so they're pretty small. So I could probably get through all 3 of these in about a week and see if I want to continue, because I know there are a lot of books after this one. Okay, next up, I actually got 3 kind of awesome special editions from Books A Million, and this is sort of my step into horror, and I will actually be beginning in the month of September with the 200th anniversary of Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. So I did recently feature this in my September TBR video, that'll be linked right here, but I picked it up because I had been wanting to get into some classics. I'm stepping into more horror, and this edition just looked fantastic. They had like a whole shelf of all these different special editions. There were a bunch of King novels there too, which I regret not getting at the time, but I will pick them up. Now, Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, as I understand it, is not necessarily that much of a horror tale. I mean, Frankenstein's monster is a very classic, you know, Halloween costume, very classic horror creature. But as I understand it, this story is actually just very sad and almost depressing in a way. So I'm definitely interested in seeing why that is and how much character is really given to Frankenstein, the scientist, and then his monster that he creates, because I think it's supposed to be more of a tale about his monster and trying to be more human. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it definitely seems interesting. And this edition was just way too cool and gorgeous to pass up. And I'll definitely have that featured on one of my shelves somewhere when I get all these filled in with horror and sci-fi, because this is pretty much all fantasy. Keeping with the theme of special editions, I went ahead and got some Edgar Allan Poe, which I absolutely love this cover. I mean, I don't remember a whole lot about Poe's poems and short stories that he wrote. I have not read them since probably high school, which is, 15 years ago now. But I mean, just the portrait with the raven, cutting across his face. This is another fully illustrated book. I mean, whatever these kind of crazy illustrations you've got every... I mean, it's like a complete work of Poe. And I decided in that top 10 horror that I want to read that I wanted to mix in some of Poe's short stories and poems, because that's going to be totally different than what I'm used to. And some of them are probably still pretty damn creepy. And carrying on with the theme of horror, this is going to be the last horror book featured here, which is Bram Stoker's Dracula. Again, awesome edition of this. It's kind of like a leathery bound edition. It's a little smaller, but I love it. It's not quite like a mass market size. It's slightly bigger, I think. But this just looks awesome. And I don't really know a whole lot about the actual story of Dracula from the books. Obviously, He's a very famous, horror creature, kind of scary vampires back when they were actually scary before they became glitter teen heartthrobs. But I'm definitely interested in seeing what kind of story this tells, because I don't really know what to expect. I don't know if it follows him as just kind of the monster of a protagonist's story, or if he is really front and center of the tale. So definitely interested in that. Let me know in the comments below if you've read, Frankenstein, Dracula, any kind of classic horror monster books, and let me know your thoughts. Stepping away from horror, 3 of the 4 Dresden books that I ordered have arrived. Turncoat will not be here until next week sometime, because Book Depository does this weird thing where even though I ordered, I think, 6 books at the same time, they all shipped separately, which is, I don't know why they do that. It's weird. But I got Proven Guilty, I got Side Jobs, and what's this one? Cold Days, the fat one, the 600-page Dresden book, which in Sanderson's world is a weekend. I got these because I'm obviously continuing my collection of Orbit paperbacks for these. I absolutely love having them all match up, and that Stormfront is obviously a special, I think it was Anderida Books that I ordered it from. That's a hardcover with slipcover. I absolutely love the minimalistic, just white outline of Harry with kind of like a blue backdrop to Chicago. So obviously I'm not getting to these for quite a few months because I have to get through the rest of Dresden to get to them. But more Dresden is a good thing. Okay, so I ordered 2 Sanderson novels as well, Edgedancer and Warbreaker. Edgedancer, again, is one of those that will be here next week. For whatever reason, I keep saying next week. This is when I'm recording it. So by the time this actually goes out, I'll probably have that and Turncoat. But I ordered those. So moving on. Warbreaker. Continuing with the EU editions because you can't see it, but I have a Sanderson shelf brewing down here because Wheel of Time took up a shelf, Dresden's going to take up a whole shelf, and then Sanderson. I have this struggle where I want them to be alphabetized by author last name, but then when I have like all of Robert Jordan's Wheel of Time, like it just has to have its own shelf, and then like all of Sanderson is going to be its own shelf because there's so many books, and it's going to throw off the alphabetization a little bit. Why am I struggling with words right now? But anyway, back to Warbreaker. I have no idea what to expect from this. It is a short Sanderson book, which means it's nearly 700 pages. I don't really know what to expect. I know it has to do with colors. I assume there's going to be some goofy fake swear words, as Sanderson likes to do, but it is a standalone. I don't actually know if he's planning on continuing this at all, but I've been told conflicting things of like, read this before Words of Radiance, read this after Words of Radiance. I think I'm going to read it afterwards, and if that's a mistake, so be it, because I'm reading Words of Radiance soon, and I'm not going to try to fit this in before it, because that would be another 6 to 7 days of reading just to get to Words of Radiance, which is going to be 12 to 14 days. But Warbreaker I've heard pretty resounding praise for, which is not that surprising. It's a Brandon Sanderson book, and pretty much everything he writes gets praised. As I've mentioned before, I've been kind of up and down on some of his works, but Way of Kings was a great book, and I'm hoping Words of Radiance knocks me on my ass, because I want to be completely sold on the series. So I'll fit this in probably after Warbreaker next month. After Warbreaker. This is Warbreaker. But that is going to do it for this book haul. Probably the last one for a little while. I've done quite a few of these. I'm not going to stop buying books, but basically this will probably be in every month to like 1 to 3 months. There will probably be at least one book haul video, just because I'm going to keep buying books. I can't stop. I need help. And I'm just kidding. I'm perfectly capable of stopping, but I don't want to, because I like buying books. So there will be more. But that is everything that I bought in my recent book haul that I wanted to include here. Again, just look at the gorgeous Wheel of Time old hardcovers. They're goofy, but I kind of love them. They're like an ugly child. Is that okay to say? But let me know anything that you have recently bought that you're super excited for. And until next time, keep reading.